Since January of this year, I've been bashing out platinum trophies like they were nothing. Admittedly, some of these are easier games, but shut up, I didn't ask you. And so it's time for a real challenge. And that challenge is... Stellar Blade? Isn't it like a 4 out of 10 on PSN profiles? Okay, easy or not, Stellar Blade is a game that I've wanted to play, and with encouragement from my friends to make videos like this one, what better time to do it? So join me in my first attempt at a platinum video as we go cheeks deep into Stellar Blade. Okay, some ground rules. For my first playthrough, I do things as the developer intended. I play the game, I enjoy myself, and I unlock whatever I unlock. I still aim to do as much of the side stuff as I possibly can, but if I miss a couple of things, no big deal. I'll pick it up in the next run. Sound good? Alright, let's get started. The first few moments of the game are spent getting to know the universe that I'm about to step into, meeting these characters and understanding their motivations before I finally meet the playable character Eve, and Jesus Christ! Whoa! Congratulations, you just witnessed the only joke that I'm going to make in the entire video about how attractive this character is. I would much rather sleep with Adam. Speaking of which, this is Adam, but we'll get to him in a moment because for now I've got to do the tutorial where I fight and I do badly because let's face it, the first time you play this kind of game you're really shit. But I tried my best and as I was okay, let's just say that I was okay. And then this big boy comes out of nowhere and I think, I can take this guy on, he's fat, he must be wrong. He's not difficult, but I'm not used to this game yet, so I take a few hits before I finally down the guy. And then like a bat out of hell, this thing comes out of nowhere and decides to eliminate my friend Taki. This is Taki over here, by the way. We press F to pay respects to Taki, and suddenly, Stellar Blade. And now we can finally talk about Adam. Adam is hot, okay? I'm just gonna flat out say it. This guy is like all kinds of attractive, okay? I'm sorry, he is delicious. Anyway, Adam is going to be guiding us through the ruins of Eidos 7 through the use of a drone because, let's face it, chivalry is dead and he is just going to let the woman do all the work. So from here I'm exploring the ruins of Eidos 7, you know, learning the mechanics, I'm doing some combat, I'm not doing very well at the combat. And just like that, I unlock my first trophy by finding this camp. I upgrade Eve's skills, you know, perfect dodge, and then I move on. I'm not sure why I bothered, because I am not very good at perfect dodge, but I will learn as I go along. Exploring the streets was fun because it leads to combat and my first experience using gear and scanning. I hope you enjoy footage of scanning because I use that thing a lot. A little while later, Adam spots this fusion cell in a car, and that kind of leads to Eve getting ambushed. But it's not too bad, they're only small enemies, nothing that I can't handle, you know, I am getting slightly better as I go along. Until this guy decides to jump into the fray, and yeah, I die. It's not too bad the second time I try fighting this dude. I just barely scrape by and I find some other collectibles like a beta energy upgrade. And it's not too long before I come across a parking tower and an HP increase. At the top of the parking tower is where I meet my first boss, Abaddon, or Abaddon, or Aladdin, whatever you want to call him. My immediate strategy is to fight up close and try to avoid letting the boss do too many attacks. It works well until phase 2 when his more rapid lightning attacks make short work of me. It's alright, I didn't want to be alive anyway. Second time around, I am much more confident. Still not as good with the perfect dodge and the blocks, but I do just about enough to take down the boss without too much strain, earning me trophy number 2 for my first real boss fight. Adam points out my next destination, I gotta go collect a thingy, and we get moving, but not before I snag another camp. I exit the parking tower and continue exploring, which rewards me with an HP increase and penises and asses. There's a lot of penises and asses in this game, I've noticed.
Are they?
Oh, and a horse creature straight out of hell. He threw me around like a ragdoll a little bit, but I managed to get the upper hand and Darth Maul the son of a bitch. Oh, gotcha! Cut the damn thing in half. It was around this time that I discovered that I could upgrade my weapon damage and my tumbler and gear slots. I also upgraded my exospine and bought a few healing items for the road. That sort of thing doesn't add to a trophy, but I just did it anyway. I explored more of the city, found more upgrades, and I also found a robot that sounds like popcorn when it dies. Oh, god, it's an enemy. Oh, it's full of goodies. Now, as a note, at this point, I don't know if collecting data from corpses will lead to a trophy, but I do it anyway because the lore is intriguing. It leads to passcodes, and of course, there's a small XP drop for each one. Next up, I need to solve a puzzle before I can proceed. This is good in theory, but bad in practice because I am not a very smart man. I understand.
Nothing.
I solve it anyway, and I make my way to the flooded commercial sector. This place is cool because there's a lot of hidden nooks and crannies, mostly underwater. I found a control panel, so presumably I can lower the water later, which is good because I fucking died in it. On the way to my destination, I encountered more puzzles, including this one to translate the time on this clock into a code. I handled it about as well as you would expect. Yeah, that's 20 past 12. What? Maybe 12:20. One embarrassing display later, and I reach the Hall of Records and obtain the thingy that Adam wants. After that, Adam agrees to guide me to the Alpha Natiba, which is the whole reason why Eve is here. And then suddenly this slobbering mass of bulbous crap turns up. I tried to use the same strategy as the first boss, you know, sticking close and walloping it repeatedly, but the Corruptor likes bolting across the arena, making it difficult to land too many hits at once. I did die on my first attempt, but managed to down it for the second attempt, which earned me trophy number 3 for defeating it. Moving onward led me to a construction site absolutely teeming with enemies, but this is a good thing because it gives me the perfect opportunity to test out my combat skills. But it's okay because aside from being crammed with enemies, it's also crammed with goodies and collectibles. It's also where I found my first of 49 cans.
Ta-da!
What the fuck? It was also here that my friend Solace connected something that I did not.
Oh my god, I just realized. It's Adam and Eve.
No, it's Adam and Steve.
No.
The worst part about this is that I was so focused on my stupid Adam and Steve joke that I didn't get the Adam and Eve connection then and there. Oh, don't worry though, I'll tell you exactly where that penny finally drops. Strap in folks, you're in for a wait. Eventually I made my way through the construction site to this beautiful yet highly suspicious area where I was attacked by this evolutionary dead end. If I thought the other bosses were easy, this was the one that changed things up. Attacks from this fat boy are relentless, and he pummeled me into the dirt more times than one. If he's not trying to crush you with his girth, he's chucking rocks at you. And that's before I even considered his second phase with the Fire Hands of Doom. All in all, I learned his attacks without too much trouble and downed him after 6 deaths, unlocking a big fat trophy number 4 for my trouble. This is Lily. She's basically Ed from Cowboy Bebop if she were medicated. She's the tech specialist of the team, and if anybody hurts her, I will show no mercy. Adam suggests we take our circus on the road and head to Xion together to meet the mysterious Orcal. So we do. But there was just one teeny tiny detail that Adam forgot to mention. Xion is a shithole. This place has all the charm and whimsy of a London back alley occupied by crack addicts, but hey, I'm here to progress, so let's talk to Orcal. This is Orcal. Orcal is a terrifying fusion of metal and flesh, but despite appearances he seems friendly and requests that I find more hypercells and tells me that if I want to find the Elder Natiba, I'd need to find more of these red core doodah thingies as well. After this, Xion really opens up and I unlock side quests. Some of these are no doubt trophy winners, but since I'm a man of quality, I'll be doing them all regardless.
Huzzah! A man of quality!
First thing I do is check the map and find myself in a dusty old bar with Enya and Sue. Enya is in dire need of repairs, and so I accept the task and move on. I snag some collectibles and accept requests from the bulletin board. I'll be doing all of these, but not mentioning them much because, blech. I also now have the ability to take suggestive selfies. At this point, Lily decides it's time for an upgrade, and now I can fire rounds with the drone, a mechanic I am all too familiar with. Then we meet Kaya. She is anxiety personified, and a merchant with her own dedicated story, which also unlocks a trophy. So just like Enya, we'll put a pin in that for now. With just a little more side questing and collectible hunting done, I speak with Adam and head for the next major area of the game, the Wasteland. Aside from advancing the main story further, the Wasteland also contains many side quests and collectibles, but for now, new location, new enemies, and new struggle. None of the camps work, meaning that I need to fix this tower before I can claim any safe havens. Fortunately, all I needed to do was climb the tower and free a trapped drone. Now, I spent a lot of time just exploring the Wasteland, getting lost in the Wasteland, getting killed in the Wasteland. And in my travels, I happened upon a small popcorn bot named Digger who was trapped under a car. I freed Digger by activating the ticker, buzzer, and clunker in that order. Digger is a sentient robot merchant who sells useful resources, and just like Enya and Kaya, he has his own story and trophy to unlock. I buy some goodies from Digger and bid him adieu as I set off into the wilderness to get utterly bitch-slapped by a surprise recycled corruptor.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Yes, apparently this is a thing in the game. Smaller scale bosses get recycled as optional bosses. And that's no problem. I mean, after all, I took this thing down once before. I'm sure I can do it again. God fucking you. I'm gonna fuck you. This vomit-spewing monstrosity does pretty much the same as the other corruptor, but it feels like it took and did more damage than before. Whatever, 4 deaths later, and I have relieved it of the burden of its failed and useless life. After this very sudden and aggressive turn to my playthrough, I looked forward to a bit of side questing and exploration, only to be reunited with a very dear friend. Wait, wasn't that the one from before? I don't know how to pronounce these boss names. Gigas or Gygas has returned with a vengeance and is very upset that I took a big bite out of its donut head. So he slaps the hell out of me a good 9 times before I take another bite out of his stupid donut head. Still, this killed 2 birds with 1 stone, as coming to this location was part of a side quest anyway. After this, I decide it's time for more main story and head for Altess Levoire, where I meet a very friendly guard who lets me pass without issue. Just kidding, she batters the shit out of me in a test of skill that I obviously failed. From what I understand, the goal here is to teach you smarter blocks and perfect parries, 2 things that we have established I am shit at. Regardless, I managed to just barely pass her test, and she gives me access to the underground facility. Which is just Doom! Why is this Doom? Why am I playing Doom all of a sudden? This is Doom! It turns out I can't scan or use my blade here, and Adam says the reason for this is some kind of disruption deep within the facility. It's obvious that something deeply troubling happened in this place, but I'm too busy being ambushed by God knows what to focus on the story. Jesus Christ! Midway through the facility, things start to get a lot more dead space. I'm talking crap all over the walls, crap built into the walls, and bigger enemies with pincer arms. And frankly, all I need now is a bloated nightmare at the end of a long hallway to make it complete. Fuck. This is Maelstrom. In terms of difficulty, it doesn't have much going for it. In fact, I would say it was the easiest boss in the entire game. It has some interesting attacks, but they do little damage and are so slow that avoiding it is a piece of cake, which is very confusing considering I'm not playing this on easy. It also doesn't help that this thing is flex sealed to the goddamn floor and can't follow you anywhere. It just sits there in one spot taking damage until you kill it. But anyway, defeating this boss and completing Altess Levoire earned me trophy number 5. Eve grabs the next hypercell and finds a recording of this woman, Raven. She's investigating the origin of the Natiba as well as the disappearance of humans, but there's no time to be suspicious of that connection though, because we've got side quests to complete! Back in Xion, Lily uses parts we've collected to do a basic repair on Enya. We've still got more to do to complete her story though, so let's put even more pins in her for now. I also speak to a man about his missing friends who were killed by Dunkin' Donuts over here, as well as this hairdresser who said that my hair was shit. Next up, I deliver a lost trunk to Kaya, who reminds me that her sister is missing but alive. I'm sure that won't end poorly. And lastly, we visit Orkel to drop off the second recovered hypercell. Look at that, it's just beautiful. Everything's alive. Orkel then reveals the location of the next Alpha Natiba and sends us on our way. Thanks to our recovery of the hypercells, Xion is experiencing some new activity. People are happier and more characters are available to talk to, which is wonderful. Xion is less of a shithole. Lily decides it's time for an upgrade. I can now double jump. I know this doesn't sound like much of an upgrade, but believe me, it is. It really, really is. Now that we know where the next abomination that needs a good ass kicking is, it's time to pack some sandwiches and pay it a visit. But not before I check in with the residents of Xion for new side quests. With every available marker on the map collected, I make my way back to the Wasteland where I get my first opportunity to use the double jump to my advantage. I am rewarded with a dead person holding a beta core and one of those butterfly things. Speaking of these things, hands down the worst set of side quests in the entire game. The goal is to find every cat, butterfly, and fish tag and then take a selfie with them. There are 30 in total and I hate all of them equally. Now, as much as I'd like to go and get my ass clapped by whatever boss the story has for me next, I picked up one side quest from this guy who lost his buddy Tommy in the mysterious Forbidden Zone, and an invitation like that is just too good to pass up, and shit, it's a boss, isn't it? It's gonna be a boss. As it turned out, it was a boss, and one that I'm familiar with. The brute from the prologue reappears, having presumably flattened poor Tommy with his great flapping muffin top. I assume this isn't the same brute from the prologue, since Taki sliced and diced it, so maybe this one is its brother or something. Either way, it's not happy to see me and uses its great big boxer gloves to burn, smash and crush me 4 times before I finished him off, earning myself trophy number 6 for putting Fatty here on a permanent diet of worms and dirt. After this, I decided to explore parts of the Wasteland I hadn't been to yet, coming across the remains of this ship. At this point in the game, I've killed enough enemies to begin earning trophies passively, and while using a beta skill to finish off a group of enemies, I unlocked a surprising trophy number 7. Sometime later, I made my way back to Digger's workshop to buy some goodies, and since buying said goodies from merchants increases your affinity with them, it leads to more of their unique stories. At this point, Digger reveals that the time has come to test his fantabulous hypothesis, but he needs me to gather 3 access codes to make it work. Since this definitely goes toward a trophy, I collect the access code from the Wasteland and Xion first. But it turns out that while in Xion and speaking to Kaya, I also advance Enya's quest to find the missing Sue. Kaya reluctantly explains that Sue went looking for an exospine for Enya. From here, I turn in a few of the less important side quests, I make some purchases, and I get a thoughtful gift from Lily. Back in the Wasteland, as it turns out, Sue managed to find a pair of nice legs for Enya, but got himself injured in the process. This was a really sweet moment. It shows Sue's love for Enya and the lengths he goes to help her. And it's also ruined by a camera glitch. Wait, what's going on? I don't think this is supposed to happen, but Burn? Oh, a cable on the floor. It all works out in the end though, because Sue makes it back to Enya with them spiffy new legs and... Jesus, I bet that hurt. His head's made out of titanium, for crying out loud. Anyway, thanks to Sue's efforts, Enya is able to walk again. I thought this would be the end for her story, but as it turns out, there's more to do. For now though, I want to go back to Eidos 7 for some deeper exploration. And this worked out in my favour because while I was exploring the city ruins, I passively unlocked trophy number 8. Now, if you'll recall, I found this terminal early in the game that I couldn't use. Well, now I can use it, and it performs some serious drainage of the flooded sector. What's amazing is that despite the water being drained only minutes ago, the area looks drier than a nun's This place is interesting. Aside from the numerous collectibles, there are also some grim discoveries to make. Like a locked room containing several dead people who at first you think drowned, but in reality they were murdered, and then this entire area was flooded to cover up the crime. What does this have to do with anything? Nothing! I just wanted to tell you because I thought that it was really messed up. Anyway, back to the main story. This is Matrix 11, the remains of an underground train station. We're here to find an alpha core which shouldn't be too high. Jesus, tap dancing crotch. These things are called Skullings, and yes, they are repulsive. They occupy Matrix 11 along with other Natiba nasties slithering through the abandoned railway tunnels. But there's no time to worry about that because a quick stealth attack on those tentacled terrors earned me trophy number 9. Despite the unsettling enemies, this was a fun mission with some very cool moments, as well as a beautiful view of the outside. But that fun and beauty was ruined the moment this hideous living keychain rears its ugly head. This is the Stalker, an intense boss that boasts an equally intense combat theme. It uses its weird head as a makeshift chainsaw, chucks rocks, and has a diabolical claw attack that requires very careful use of those parries. I wish I could say it killed me a few times, but I managed to take this big boy down without dying a single time, earning me trophy number 10. And to sweeten the deal, this also unlocked some spicy burst skills. But we're not out of the woods that is Matrix 11 just yet, though. After solving a puzzle involving a rotating train and a blood splatter, trust me it makes more sense in context, I continue. But then... something is stirring in the depths of Matrix 11. Something very powerful. Eve realizes that whatever it is must be the source of the Alpha Core. Before I continue, I check out my skills and see the all-new burst options open up. I don't have many points to spare, but I snag the descending break and the punishing edge as a starting point. Now before I get too comfortable with my nice new skills, I run a little too far ahead and come face to face with a creature known as the Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
What is it with this game and fat bosses being fast and super aggressive? No, seriously, this thing beat the crap out of me. If he isn't trying to turn you into paste with his hammer, he's hitting the ground with it so hard that it erupts into flames and rock. And when he decides that's enough, he gives you the Loki treatment and smashes you into the ground several times. So far though, this boss is the only one that's really gotten under my skin enough to begin insulting it in a way that I'm hesitant to show on video. Well, okay, maybe just a little. Jesus, give me a break, you fat you fat In the end though, after just 2 deaths, I flattened that flabby so-and-so with his own hammer, earning myself trophy number 11 in the process. Looks like I'm the juggernaut, bitch. There's no point in getting too comfortable though, because as I said earlier, this place is crawling with Natiba, and as soon as I step foot in this room, I'm attacked and forced into a narrow pit. I do my very best to avoid becoming slippery chunks of meat in a grinder, and Eve finds another one of those legacy recordings from Raven. We put that to the side for a moment though, because the source of the Alpha Core signal is in the very next room, and bollocks!
I'm in danger!
Yes, in a horrible twist, it would appear that while Taki is alive and well, she has become an unwilling host to an Alpha Core. She equips armor that would make even Isaac Clarke jealous and begins the recurring tradition of kicking my ass. Here's something to note about Taki. She is terrifying. If the twist of her being alive isn't enough to shock you, the fact that she literally becomes a one-winged angel midway through the fight should. But hey, it's not all bad, because during my fight with her, I was lucky enough to unlock trophy number 12. Once you get Taki to 50% health, things really heat up. She gets a creepy new arm, she obliterates the arena, and launches an aura-fueled assault on Eve. As brutal as her attacks were, I managed to take her out after just 3 deaths. Upon her defeat, she regains control of herself, says thank you to Eve for ending her pain, and then dies in a very abrupt way. This also unlocked trophy number 13. Hey, look at that, we're not doing too bad. Back in Xion, Orkel tries to assist us further, but he can't without another hypercell to power the search. So it's off to a new location, Altess Levoire in the Great Desert. Or at least I would be going there if I didn't see a big pile of new side quests just sitting in the middle of Xion for me to do. And before I can focus on any of that though, Lily has an even cooler upgrade for me. I can now use Taki mode. It's kinda like playing as Eve, but she has an irresponsible amount of cocaine in her system. This unlocks another skill tree specifically for Taki mode, because if Eve on crack wasn't enough for you, then there's always heroin, I guess. Alright, it's time to do some side questing. First port of call is Kaya, because as a trophy hunter, I am attracted to the possibility of a new unlock like flies on After hearing that my next expedition will be to the Great Desert, Kaya asks if I can check some coordinates for her sister, who I'm reminded once again is definitely alive. I do my usual thing, I see if the Xion residents have any odd jobs, I check the bulletin board for quests I can accept and turn in, and then I speak to Adam, who reminds me that we have one thing I haven't looked at yet. The legacy recording from Raven. By this point, Raven is the last living member of her squad, and she is not feeling very enthusiastic about her mission. Try to see it like this. Imagine you are part of a religious cult, and suddenly you start learning that your cult is probably not very nice. Yeah, that happened to her. While Lily and Eve are struggling to comprehend that this might be their reality, Adam Shapiro over here is like, facts don't care about your feelings. But some ideologies can't just be crushed with one statement, so we all agree to put a pin in it and wait for more information. Somehow that was less satisfying. The bad news is that travelling to Altess Levoire is considered a point of no return, so for the time being, I'm back on side quest duty. And by far, the best moment of side quest duty goes to when Eve becomes a full-on furry. I can play the game as a furry. I'm on my way to Comic-Con. But with everything now completed in previous locations, I can blast off to the Great Desert and explore there. Unfortunately for me, there's a big sandstorm preventing camp access, and to fix that, I need to head to another tower where I can... Oh goody gumdrops, it's my old pal the Stalker. You're really living up to that name, huh? I'm not sure if I just killed the previous Stalker quickly, or if this one is heaps more aggressive, because boy almighty did I get my cheeks clapped in a way that hit different to last time. Jesus H. Christ! I don't remember this thing slamming me to the ground, or using its stupid chainsaw head on my torso, or burrowing into the ground for surprise attacks. And by the end of my time fighting this guy, I was chugging heals like an addict. I went down 5 times, but eventually I put an anticlimactic ending to this miserable sack of festering fertilizer. With the Stalker gone, I can now repair the tower. Takes a bit of time to do that, as you need to locate and connect 3 missing drones to the network, but I get it done with relative ease, and just like that, bad weather gone, and the camps are once again free real estate. Exploring the Great Desert was fun. There's all kinds of new enemies and challenges to conquer. I bested them all, of course. I lost to the floor, though. It sounds like I had a stroke halfway through it. Oh, no, no. Sinking sand! Sinking sand! Sometime into my exploration, I decided to upgrade my skills. It was at this point I realized, I had completely forgotten about Tacky mode. Once again, I am not a smart man. Does this mean I'm going to use it now? No, I don't think I will. The trophy train keeps on rolling through though, because after passively finding 200 collectibles, I unlocked trophy number 14. Later I found myself doing a bit of parkour on the rooftops, and it was all going well until... Oh good, another old friend comes skulking back from the depths of hell to shoot lightning bolts directly up my arse. I think we all know what comes next. Abby over here has returned with the fury of Thor after stepping on a piece of Lego. But what he didn't count on was my ability to now use Tacky mode. Using Tacky mode, I was able to steal Abby's thunder with my more spectacular fighting skills, or at least I did until I ran out of Tacky power and got my cheeks clapped again. 3 deaths in, and I finally used my combined Eve and Tacky skills to put Abby back in the ground where he belongs. No trophy from this, but it contributed to a side quest completion, so I'll take what I can get. Checking in with my skills once again, I snagged all Tacky mode upgrades save for one, then head out for more exploration. This led me to finding the Oasis, which is exactly what it sounds like. The Oasis is a peaceful little area, occupied by a friendly fella by the name of Clyde who teaches me about the joys of fishing. I give the fishing a go and I find it to be a fun and rewarding mechanic, and I hate it, I really hate it, I don't like it, I really don't like the controls for it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Luckily my friend Byrne was on hand to tell me that I can use accessibility features to make me hate it less. I spent far too much time here just fishing in this peaceful spot before I realized I had things to do. But before I left, Clyde was kind enough to give me some tips as well as sell me some goodies that will help in my little fishing journey ahead. I also found the final access code needed by Digger for his fantabulous hypothesis. I'll take that code to him ASAP, but for now let's put a pin in it. Oh shit! Okay, maybe I'll go and see him now instead. Returning to Digger, I hand in the access codes he requested and aid him in completing his fantabulous hippopotamus. Poor little guy was hoping to discover where his consciousness came from, but like a single man in a brothel, he came out empty-handed. Still, Eve gives him a renewed sense of purpose by telling him that he should travel to Xion and help the residents there. Digger excitedly agrees to this, and his story arc is concluded, earning me trophy number 15. I was curious to see if Digger had set up shop in Xion, so I made my way back only to be greeted by Enya and Sue. Apparently while exploring Xion, Digger visited Sue's bar and told Enya something about her song, and Enya is hoping that Digger has some information about her forgotten past. I look for the little guy and he's found himself a corner to sell wares. That's where he tells me that he heard Enya's song in the ruins of an opera house located in the Great Desert. Checking the place out for myself, I find many clues to Enya's history as a celebrated artificial actress, and that her song is a lingering memory of that time. Before I return to Enya with my findings, I spend some time in the Great Desert exploring, finding goodies and completing side quests. I then found this awesome pipe of pain. I call it the awesome pipe of pain because moving through it is so rapid and awesome, but also extremely painful. The end of the tunnel leads to a cavern with some goodies and one of several books I'll need for later. The only drawback to this intense pipe ride is that I found myself in the middle of goddamn nowhere. Eventually I made my way back to where I was and found that I was close to where Kaya's missing sister was last seen, which is an excellent opportunity for me to finally meet the famous woman herself. She's dead. But there's no time to worry about this highly unexpected turn of events because her killer makes an appearance. This is the Behemoth. It's basically a souped up version of enemies you encounter in the Great Desert. That's right, it's full of soup. Behemoth is a considerable threat, but not a super frustrating one. It has those vicious claw attacks that can peel you like a banana, making blocks and parries essential. It can get the literal jump on you with pounce attacks and blasting you with bad breath. And if you get too close to it, it'll try taking a slice out of your cake with those gnarly teeths. Not too bad though, one death later and the Behemoth is euthanized, unlocking a well-deserved trophy number 16. Unfortunately though, this means that I have to deliver the bad news to Kaya. Your sister's dead. Joking aside, Kaya takes the news surprisingly well, understanding that this was always something that could have happened. She's heartbroken, but happy to have her sister's memories and the workshop to always remind her of their bond. With that bittersweet moment concluded, we unlock trophy number 17. Next up is visiting Enya in Sue's bar, and before I can even tell her what we learned in the opera house, trophy number 18 unlocks, I guess. Thanks. Enya is relieved and proud to hear her full story, and she thanks Eve with a hopeful performance of the song she once sang many years ago. As happy as I am to make the progress, this was upsetting because it was the end of Enya and Sue's story, two characters that I genuinely had an affinity for. I checked in with my upgrades and decided to beef up my exospines, even the ones that I didn't use much since I had the necessary materials, and boom! Trophy number 19, we're on a roll. Travelling back to the Great Desert, I wish I could say that the next several hours were full of top tier gameplay and big brain moves, but truth be told, I took it easy for a time. The Great Desert is huge, so searching it from top to bottom takes time. In my travels though, I'm happy to report that I found many goodies, including most of the books found on these creepy tables, which I quickly learned are for a side quest. Yeah, finding all of them unlocks a crate in the Wasteland containing some lore and an outfit. Oh, and speaking of outfits, this side quest jolted my memory on crafting the outfits I'd found in the wild, and for my dedication to fashion, I unlocked trophy number 20. Now at the time, I wasn't sure if fishing would lead to a trophy, but I wanted to do it anyway since there's only 30 to catch. So the next hour of my life was spent tugging rods. After some destination swapping, I had caught enough fish for trophy number 21.
A halibut and a fucking trophy!
With only 10 more fish left to catch, I got back to it and spent another grueling hour flicking my rod while I slowly lost grip on reality.
So you've been fishing since Saturday?
No, I've only just really started it. It takes so long. It makes me want to sing a song about how catching fish is shit.
After yet another hour passes, I have successfully caught all 30 fish. No trophy earned, but Clyde was kind enough to give me a suit that really caught me off guard. Jesus. Oh, God. At this point, I only had a few side missions left to complete before I could move on to Altess Levoire. These include supplying alcohol to an alcoholic, locating a religious fanatic after he'd done a silly, and once I had rid the map of every disgusting yellow marker and collected every piece of information from Xion, it was finally time for me to move to that point of no return. It's not a point of no return, I just bamboozled myself into thinking I needed to complete everything before what is basically a story midpoint. Accepting the reality that I'm fucking stupid, I head to Altess Levoire where I'm greeted by another skill check. I thought maybe I had done enough to improve, but as it turns out, even trying to cheese the fight with tacky mode leads to an embarrassing defeat. You've got to be shitting me. 2 beatdowns later, and I get access to Altess Levoire. It looks like Lily is joining me on the journey this time, as Adam is busy with Adam things. Just like Altess Levoire, all I have to defend myself with is a good old-fashioned gun. But before I can use my gun on anything living, the environment decides to jump into the ring with comically sized and placed giant rippy grinders. No problem though, I've done this little dance before, I know what to do. Using some brain power and a whole lot of glue on myself, I was able to pass through the grinders and move deeper into the facility where I reunite with horrors beyond human comprehension. At some point, I reached a long hallway infested with said horrors, but luckily for me, I have more than enough ammo to blast them away, contributing to a now unlocked trophy number 22. I was expecting Altess Levoire to be bigger than what it was. There were reused assets from Altess, but nothing too crazy. While Altess felt like a shooting gallery with puzzles, Abyss was more like a shooting gallery with platforming. But I like both of those things anyway, so whatever. Reaching the end of this cursed little adventure, I meet another one of those hemorrhoid-shaped bosses, the Maelstrom. Same deal as before, it doesn't do much to fight back except a few easily avoided attacks. This thing is weak with a capital W. Once I've successfully treated the hemorrhoid, we grab the hypercell and unlock trophy number 23. We also find another legacy from Raven who confirms that the Natiba monsters are the result of genetic experiments on humans. That is to say, real humans. Eve concludes that she and all the other humans currently living on the planet are in fact Eidos, which is like, yeah, I mean, I know she doesn't have a huge frame of reference, but most real humans don't walk around with toasters built into their heads. Eve also wonders if their creation was the result of trying to fix imperfections found in humans. The team then comes to an unsettling question. If their creator Mother Sphere knew this, why would she hide it from them? Don't worry about that for now though, because we're going to travel back to Xion and ask Orkel if this is indeed the truth.
Yes.
Oh dear, it is. When asked why Mother Sphere would hide this information, his response is basically, oh. Eve decides that no matter what, she has to complete her mission while searching for answers. Ever the helpful mechanical monstrosity, Orkel tells her that the next Alpha Natiba is in the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Space!
As luck would have it, Adam knows a way to get us off-world and tells Eve to get prepped before we make our next move. And Lily decides it's time for another helpful upgrade in the form of a second exospine. That's right, I now have 2 spines. Lifting heavy boxes is officially a cakewalk, but I'm still not gonna do it. That's for your back. Since I'm a good little daddy's girl and I have my other obligations sorted out, I waste no time in sending myself to space. Or at least I would if Lily hadn't asked us to help with some unfinished business. For some context, this is the point of no return that I was expecting. You see, as you complete tasks and collect goodies in the game, you'll notice this graphic in the corner of the screen. This is the Lily meter. If you do enough in the game to reach 100%, you unlock an extra story mission in a place called Eidos 9. I'll explain why this is important later, but for now, just know it's important. Arriving at Eidos 9, I'm immediately set upon by anti-air Natiba I'm going to refer to as ass blasters. My goal from this point forward will be to kill all the ass blasters in the area before proceeding to the main objective, Lily's old workshop. I took my time here to explore and find as much stuff as I could because entering most of the derelict buildings would reward me with lots of goodies and also trophy number 24. Pushing on, I took out several ass blasters in my path, with the only thing stopping me being my own incompetence. Bro, there's goodies all over this place. Why the... Oh, God. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't drown. Are you... What? While pushing through to one of the few remaining ass blasters, my dedication granted me trophy number 25, but my lack of skill granted me death. Undeterred by my failures, I cleared out the rest of the ass blasters and made my way to Lily's workshop in the coolest way possible. This is fun, 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 this is fun. Kind of abrupt ending. Oh, that was horrible. I arrive at the workshop, which is just gorgeous. The scenery here is incredible. While here, Lily reveals the body of Iberis, a colleague of hers who specialized in hacking. In Lily's words, Iberis fell asleep due to body cell damage. She then tells us that we came here for her memories and skills, as Lily believes that they will prove useful to us. With Iberis' pod sealing itself up again, we leave her to rest and move on to the Orca space complex. Before we can even begin what is set up to be a tense battle, Adam gets an emergency transmission from Xion, forcing him to abandon the mission. Eve tells him to return to Xion to take care of the situation while she proceeds on foot. As always, new location means new enemies, and the space complex is no exception. These are droids, kind of a generic name, but they're not the kind of enemy you want to meet in a dark alley. Oh, they seem to come in various shapes, sizes, and quantity of flesh. Yes, just like the citizens of Xion are nightmarish fusions of flesh and metal, these things are just fusions of what and the fuck. They look like those weird aliens from Crysis, you know, the ones with the orange blobby tentacles? Pushing nice and deep into that complex, I come across another awesome Pipe of Pain. Before hopping into the Pipe of Pain, I get the itchies for another trophy and thought I was about to unlock one here. Health, 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 come on, health, 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 health and a trophy. I didn't. Crushing disappointment to the side, I hop into the tube and, well, it goes about as well as you'd think. Jesus Christ! If I spin, they can't kill me. If I spin, they can't kill me. If I spin, they can't kill me. Jesus Christ! Stop! Please! But I guess I wasn't dying fast enough because the game decides to toss the utter aura farming boss that is Belial at me. To get a bit English on you, this boss is proper mental. None of the other bosses have come close to this absolute powerhouse. This was the first fight where I really felt that I needed to lock in because this thing is on another level. Of course, in the moment we were too focused on the pronunciation of its goddamn name.
Belial.
Belial.
Shouldn't there be like a Latin though? Belial or Belial? Let's look it up.
It's like a fusion of RoboCop 2, Shadow the Hedgehog, and fucking Raiden. Its attacks are fast, brutal, and it doesn't stop. Never mind. Of course, I won the fight, but I lost intellect points.
So yeah, so they just said the word is Hebrew and it's pronounced Belial.
I hate you. It's not all bad though, because upgrading my tumbler once more unlocked trophy number 26. I am now at maximum drinkable drugs capacity. This next area is just flat out a gauntlet. I've seen episodes of Takeshi's Castle with less fatalities. Getting through here is evil if you have the pressing desire to collect every bit of loot you see, because hidden in almost every nook and cranny is something valuable. And if that isn't bad enough, there are turrets everywhere. Make the tiniest mistake and before you know it, Eve has got 42 extra holes in her. And you just know my greedy ass got shot. But despite those failures, I did snag another health upgrade, leading to trophy number 27. Things were about to get very explodey though, because as soon as I made it to the space complex exterior, I was humiliated by a set of very pissed off turrets. Fucking hell. Over, and over, and over, Again. 7 exhausting deaths later, and I finally arrived at the Raphael Space Center. The pain train continues in the Space Center because it's been overrun with Naytiba infection and droids who are very unhappy to see me. I fight through their forces and reactivate the elevator, but before I can make it to the exit, my old friend Bellend arrives for round 2. This time it's a fight to the death. Armless and Dangerous over here has got the bloodlust and isn't gonna let me go without a fight. I threw everything I had at this dude. Tacky mode, combos, bullets. We're talking a full-on assault. Belial, being the wicked and worthless arsehole it is, simply shrugged off my attacks and regenerated. What? At some point Lily suggested overcharging the drone's railgun, but I was too busy trying to stay alive while headbanging to this testosterone-fueled battle music. Oh my god. I took 2 deaths during my first encounter, but none here, and Lily made sure that wasn't going to change when she blasted Belial away, unlocking a satisfying trophy number 28. With nothing standing in our way, it's time to head to space. Is what I would say if the place wasn't gunked up like a gaming keyboard. The Naytiba infection has spread too far into the elevator, so much of my journey to space begins with climbing. This does make for one of the cooler parts of the game, I must admit. I love some platforming and exploration, so it was cool to see it blend well together. After reaching the upper levels of the elevator and dealing with a Naytiba within, we meet a lovely young lady named Arissa. Arissa acts as a friendly maid and guide to the various rooms and floors. At least, she was. I suppose it should have been expected that this peaceful change of pace wouldn't last very long. It seems like the Naytiba really don't want me going up. It was here that I unlocked trophy number 29 for finding a max level beta energy upgrade. Yeah, see, Arissa, it's not all bad. Returning to the noble realm of my ancestry, I join the 1% and find myself in the Prestige Lounge. A truly marvelous location, complete with bells and whistles. Lily and Eve take a moment to rest up, but something wicked this way comes. Yes, it would appear that we are being stalked by some kind of...
Oh, hell no!
Despite sensing something amiss, Eve continues to the Vermilion Garden, where Lily's drone is 420 no-scoped by this highly unpleasant to look at blob of metal and sadness. I don't even know where to begin with this boss. Its name is Karakuri, and it is very Japanese, at least according to Wikipedia. It has a few decent attacks, but it feels like many of them are more visual flair than damaging, though I do enjoy when it goes ballistic and frantically blasts lasers in all directions. It summons a couple of enemies during its fight to throw you off, but honestly, it doesn't have much going for it. It's not as defenseless as the Maelstrom, but still, this was easily a all bark and no bite kind of boss, despite it feeling very close to a Bloodborne encounter. 0 deaths here, but a spicy trophy number 30 is earned. Making my way downtown to the central core, I'm treated to this gorgeous visual of the elevator rising high above the earth. And looking back on it, I like to consider this the last time I could truly be at rest. Because everything that followed might as well have physically manifested as 2 gigantic hairy hands ready to yank my cheeks wide open. The central core is coated in Naytiba slop. And before I can get a good look around, a large creature emerges from that slop. Now remember how I said that Karakuri was the closest thing to a Bloodborne encounter? Yeah, well, this one just is a Bloodborne encounter. This is the demo crawler. Everything from its design to the battle music screams souls. The beginning of the fight is really deceptive. Get too close and the demo crawler will swipe at you, but the attacks are fairly easy to avoid. But knock down enough health and that false sense of security is sliced clean in half with a sword that it violently rips from its own body. After that, I got to kiss my ass goodbye several times, because if a sword didn't make short work of me, these randomly placed AoE attacks sure did. And then suddenly this unpleasant squid is teleporting behind me for a cheeky swipe, or he's blasting brain lasers in my direction, both of which cause a lot of damage. But if you knock it down to 50% health, it really quits holding back and unleashes a nasty series of attacks. It seemed like the only strategy that would work was consistent parries and not giving the boss even a second of recovery time between attacks. I successfully locked in after a reasonable 7 deaths, but the only problem is...
There's no core.
Yeah, there's also a distinct lack of a trophy here too, love. Eve is then launched into outer space where we see the real Alpha Naytiba. Lily reluctantly allows Eve to use the only weapon capable of fighting such a large enemy, and after a few shots, the Alpha Naytiba is no more. Along with probably everything in a 100-mile radius of that space elevator. And just as it looks like it's the end for Eve, a large mech catches her before she burns up in the atmosphere. With Eve safe, sound, and returning to the surface, we finally unlock trophy number 31. Remembering Adam's situation, Lily and Eve fly back to Xion only to find it under attack by an unknown force. In the presence chamber, Eve witnesses Oracle's bodyguard man get absolutely trashed by the feathery freak that killed Taki. The creature speaks to Eve, and from what I can gather, it's jealous of Eve because of some grand plan involving the Elder Natiba. Honestly, I wasn't even shocked that this thing could communicate because I was more focused on kicking its ass. Fuck you know. Now I'm gonna say it right now, this fight is bullshit. Not unfair, just bullshit. No matter what tactic I chose to go over with, it seemed like she had a counter. Over and over and over and over, I got my ass handed to me in so many unique ways that my gameplay began to suffer because she was really getting under my skin. Oh my days, you knob-gobbling son of a bitch. Some deaths in, I began to use grenades to stun her long enough to do some damage. This worked until I was warned that I was now in insta-kill territory. Great. Pretty easy to combat this though, shoot the yellow balls until the anorexic pigeon drops to the ground, job's a good one. Except no it isn't, because giving her even a stray second of recovery time will often result in a painful lesson. Safe to say I was getting very upset with this boss. Yeah, you cunt, I hate you. Go and suck your dad. It took me an embarrassing and frustrating 19 attempts to finally pluck this chicken, and what the fuck? You know, I should have picked up on this reveal sooner. Her name is Raven. But then again, I'm the guy who still I might add, has not made the Adam and Eve connection. Yeah, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that. Raven buggers off and Oracle's bodyguard begs me to check on him and—
I am the first of the Alpha Natibas.
Oh, for God's sake. You know, I've seen less twists and turns in a bowl of pasta. I'm not complaining, but bloody hell. Though dying, Oracle asks Eve for the Alpha Core we nabbed from space, but unfortunately we lost it. Butterfingers. It's okay though, because Oracle rips out his own core and uses it to craft the Master Core. And with his dying breath, he urges Eve to use it to find the Elder Natiba. With Oracle gone and Xion in a state, the remaining survivors of Raven's attack come together to offer Eve one last bit of support. You know, providing she's got enough money to pay for it. After speaking with the survivors, Eve and Lily are now ready to move to the Natiba nest. Lily also remembers that Adam has a tracker on his bike, so we can use it to find him before the final assault. I do some quick upgrades, and that leads me to unlocking trophy number 32. Now, as much as I'd like to continue the story, I want to snag the last of those cans and whatever else I can get my mitts on before I do. My search took me across all of the places I had previously been to, or at least the ones that let me back in anyway. During the search, I was ambushed by a lurker, but using a burst skill on it unlocked trophy number 33. It didn't take me long to find the rest of the cans, only about an hour to scoop up the remaining ones that I needed. Sadly, I did miss one in a now unreachable area, but thankfully the game accounts for this and lets you recover it in another way. Bollocks fishing. A few flicks of me rod later, and I have recovered a box containing the last can, finally unlocking trophy number 34. As well as a swanky new outfit, which is just horny bait. Practically every outfit in this game is horny bait, by the way. Not that I have a problem with this, just balance it out with some tasteful Adam outfits and we good. Oh well, that's just rude. But I'm not done yet, because while fighting some Natiba mere moments later, I unlocked trophy number 35. With the cans collected, I spoke to Lily in Xion and we set off to find our lost bestie Adam. As it turns out, Adam had already made his way to the Natiba nest, which is where his bike signal was coming from. Lily and Eve waste no time in investigating, with Lily donning that massive-ass exosuit that saved Eve in space, you know, finally some hardcore backup. Along the way, we find another one of Raven's legacies, and hopefully this one explains why she became such a— Raven reveals that Mother Sphere was the true cause of humanity's disappearance, and that their creation as Eidos was just a means to an end to bring about the extinction of mankind. Short version of this would be, Raven is an asshole, but Mother Sphere is an even bigger asshole. Lily really struggles to come to terms with this, to the point where she begs Eve for her to agree that Raven is delusional. But Eve has nothing to say, and the two are forced to continue. Oh look, it's Adam's bike, along with what appears to be the entrance to the Natiba nest, and no, not again, not— Raven is back and spouts more nonsense about her being the true supporter of the Elder Natiba, while Eve is just a larper. Once again though, I'm more interested in finding a way to commit stop breathing to her, so our fight to the death begins. And what in the K-pop is this music? I mean, I'm not complaining because it's still a bot, but it's not at all what I expected to hear when I prepped to cross swords with her. Same as before, Raven's a bit of a tool to fight. I've no doubt in my mind that many of my deaths here were down to a skill issue, but with that previous fight with her fresh in my mind, it was very easy to fall back into rage mode. That said, this fight is a true spectacle, a culmination of not just your learned fighting skills, but also the payoff to the battle of ideals sprinkled throughout the story. And when you hit those buttons just right, you get rewarded with some very juicy takedowns. Midway through the fight with Raven, she has a bit of a villain monologue before she resumes her attempts at cutting Eve to ribbons. This girl's got some frightening attacks, but I learned from previous bosses to be on your guard and on the offensive, and after a while I was dodging most of her attacks with ease. 16 attempts in, and I remove both her arms and ram her through. Not quite killing her, but not leaving her with much chance of survival. Raven is understandably upset with this resolution, and accurately describes my feelings during a heatwave in the UK.
Kill me!
With the way to the nest finally clear, Eve uses the Master Core and the extraordinary entrance opens to reveal the nest interior, unlocking trophy number 36. This place is exactly what you would expect, a nest of Naytiba that are getting ready to rip me into pieces. Oh well, they're all dead. They just hatch and die. What? Delving deeper into the nest, I come face to face with the Elder Naytiba himself. No, Adam, no. Adam, look at Eve's face, Adam. Adam, look at Eve's face. Oh. Yep, that's right. This was the exact moment where I finally connected that their names were Adam and Eve. It's embarrassing, I know. Adam, or the Elder Naytiba, explains that he's trying to right past wrongs and that the assault on Xion was nothing to do with his orders, but Raven acting on her own motives. Adam reveals that everything he's done has been to find a way for the Andro Eidos and Naytiba to coexist peacefully in the form of a new evolution combining both of their genetics. He offers to literally merge with Eve and birth a new species. Though he also throws a hypercell to bring Xion back from the brink of destruction. Oh, that was nice of him. You get the choice here. Merge with Adam and create new life, or side with Mother Sphere and put the Elder Naytiba down. I did not know what ending to pick, but I was told of a handy-dandy save scum feature that I could use to experience both choices without having to redo the entire game. So my first choice was to take Adam's hand. Lily protests this, but she has faith in Eve. Adam and Eve merge into one being, which is pretty much just hitting the delete key on Adam and giving Eve a cool new outfit. Lily is relieved to hear that Eve is still herself, and things were going well. Unfortunately, I failed to account that the giant exosuit is designed to kill Naytiba, which is now 50% of my biological makeup. This hulking pile of lights and knives is Providence. I'm not sure if it's directly controlled by Mother Sphere or just acting on programming, but it wants me dead all the same. For a brief moment, I thought I had this thing in the bag. I was doing reasonably well considering this is a new boss. And then Providence slapped me back into reality with a dirty series of attacks that really knocked my confidence down a peg. This thing hits like a goddamn truck. Whether it uses its melee or long-range attacks, you can feel it through the controller. Get unlucky enough or flub one too many parries and Providence will end your existence with a single punch and then stand over your lifeless body like you were nothing to it. A strat I found that worked well for me was similar to the first fight with Raven. Use grenades to temporarily stun Providence if you need a moment to do some damage or heal. I died so many times before I got its health down to even 50%. I know this because once you do reach that point, Providence rises into the air and breaks out that one-hit kill attack, and unlike Raven's one-hit kill attack, I actually got bamboozled trying to figure out where to hit the boss, despite it being very, very obvious. 46 miserable deaths later, and suddenly Lily remembers that she can use Iberus's memories to free herself from Providence. And once Lily is safe, Eve wastes no time blasting it back before unleashing the full power her new body has. Suddenly, Providence had no chance. I unleashed hit after hit after hit, and all it could do is stand there taking every brutal beatdown until Eve cut it into pieces, ending with this glorious shot. And unlocking trophy number 37 for our first ending.
Let's return to the tetrapod.
With the Elder Naytiba gone and Providence destroyed, Lily and Eve exit the nest and are greeted by a strange girl. Suddenly, everything becomes clear.
Mother Sphere?
She does do me a huge favor though. She answers the question that I've been thinking about since I first heard her name. Is Mother Sphere an asshole? The answer to this is yes. It looks like her ultimate goal hasn't changed, so all Eve can do is fight off her forces as the credits roll. But it looks like we survive her attack, as Lily is later seen inserting Adam's hypercell in reawakening Xion, leaving us with a message: their journey continues on. But that's all well and good, but I want to see what happens if I refuse Adam's offer, so let's rewind. Same scene plays out as before, but this time Eve rejects the offer. Lily preps to aid me in the fight, but Adam just does this. Well, that sucks. Watching the thing that twatted me into the floor 46 times get pushed back like it's nothing is kinda frustrating. The fight with Adam begins and it's easy, like he barely does anything to fight back. I dispatch him quickly and Lily regains control of Providence, but just to really emphasize how shit I am, Adam does this. Seems like the fight isn't over because I'm teleported to Rom the Vacuous Spider's old neighborhood where Adam reveals his true Elder Nativa form. Honestly, I still would. Prepare to hear me glaze for a minute, by the way, because this is the fight. Easily the most gloriously presented. The music here is beyond words, and I think this YouTube comment sums it up perfectly. This is what fighting the indomitable human spirit sounds like. Not only that, the music from the flooded sector makes a reprisal here that hits so much harder. The Elder Nativa is fighting a last desperate attempt for humanity, and no matter how I look at it, in this scenario, I am the villain. His attacks are dejected but calculating. The entire fight is like a cosmic dance for survival. It's fucking art. Speaking strictly for his moves, the Elder has multiple devastating melee attacks to use if you're foolish enough to get a bit too greedy and a bit too close. And a seemingly endless amount of long-range energy attacks that are disgusting on impact. He has a one-hit kill move that relies on several flying Nativa charging it with him, so dispatching them quickly will knock him down for a powerful attack. Any recovery time he's given will usually trigger a vicious series of attacks ranging from this cursed light show to just flat out nuking the ground you stand on. If I had to compare the Elder to Providence, Providence was the harder fight for me, but the Elder is without a doubt the best of the two. It took me 15 attempts, but I finally put down the Elder in a spectacular fashion, unlocking trophy number 38 and trophy number 39. Eve apologizes to Adam, who laments the passing of mankind before he dies, and with no Elder, the Nativa nest begins to crumble. Lily and Eve are met outside by a grateful Mother Sphere, who congratulates them and sends a transport ship to bring them to the colony, ending with the message, "The journey to find the truth continues." Alright, so as you can see, we've completed 2 out of 3 endings in this playthrough and gotten quite a number of trophies while we did it. So the remaining trophies that I need to get are Thorough Technician, to learn all of the available skills, Meticulous Explorer, to activate every camp in the game, Infinite Blade, to learn all the extra skills in New Game Plus, The Cost of Memories, unlock the 3rd ending of course, Repeating Protocols, which is to beat New Game Plus, and finally, Eve Protocol, which is the Platinum. Had I checked the trophy list prior to playing, I'm sure I could have unlocked at least Thorough Technician and Meticulous Explorer, but hey, that leaves more for me to do in my next playthrough. And speaking of which, realistically, you don't need to see me beat the game again. You just saw that, right? So here's the cheese. We're going to skip through a lot of gameplay here, but I'll still be talking us through what I'm doing. Alright, first things first. Remember the Lily meter and how it fills up when you complete side quests and collect items? Well, for this playthrough, the bulk of that is ignored. It'll still fill up as you complete missions, but it won't get to 100% because this is how you unlock the 3rd ending. So for now, my first major objective is to snag the remaining skills from my first playthrough. I do this just before the characters head out to the Wasteland for the first time, unlocking trophy number 40. My next trophy would prove to be a weird one. We're talking about Meticulous Explorer, which is to unlock every camp in the game. I didn't know if starting New Game Plus would reset what I had already done, so I settled on activating every camp in the game until I reached the final one in the Nativa nest. Fortunately, the game does save your progress, and I unlocked trophy number 41 shortly after reaching the Great Desert. The next trophy I would focus on passively, which is to max out the skills exclusive to New Game Plus. Admittedly, it took a while, but I managed to unlock trophy number 42 just before the second fight with Raven outside of the nest. From here, it was just a matter of finishing the game as usual. My Lily meter hadn't reached 100%, so I didn't go to the extra Eidos level, so I was clear to trigger the final boss after accepting Adam's offer. Oh boy, here we go again. So the fight with Providence is unchanged, it still hits like a truck, but now I fight back with the benefit of experience and a much stronger Eve build. Narratively though, this is a nastier way to experience the game, because once you've done enough damage, Lily begins to panic inside of Providence, specifically mentioning that she needed Iberis's hacking code, making you feel like a real dick if you didn't get it. In this ending, it's obvious that Providence is being controlled by Mother Sphere directly, because it either shocks Lily almost to death or unconscious. Eve destroys Providence, but she cuts Lily in half while doing it. Lily then dies in Eve's arms while saying that she prefers the old you. You know, just so you can feel like an even bigger dick. Leaving the nest unlocks trophy number 43, 44, and 45, ending my little trophy hunting journey. Mother Sphere is still an asshole though, I guess some things never change, and for ending 3 we leave with the message her journey does not end. And that's it. Stellar Blade is complete. If you want my take on the endings, I choose to believe that ending 1 is the best outcome, while ending 2 has the better final boss. Ending 3, however, is just for those of you who like living a joyless life. I do not like the fact that Lily, probably the most innocent character in the entire game, was the only one who had to pay the ultimate price. Though I suppose that was the point. But hey, this was a remarkable experience for me. I had fun, and I learned a lot while making this. Mostly what not to do in the future, but it was still fun, so I hope you enjoyed it too. I have plans for other videos like this. Not sure if it'll be a trophy unlock video, but there will still be videos of this kind of style, so if you're into that, then please consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing to the channel. We also have a Discord server you can join if you'd like to say hi. Before I end this though, I'd just like to thank my friends Burnwolf, Gramps, Cass, Solace Lux, and VTech for their support throughout this whole thing. It really means a lot. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Oh my god, how did I go that entire video without talking about that woman's dump truck ass? She is fucking thick, son.